Welcome back, guys, to another video, and this is going to be a discussion video, a video response to RGT85, my good friend Shawn, who got in a heated debate on Facebook that inspired him to make a video about the retro community and YouTube. Is YouTube killing the retro community? Now, that's a pretty big question, because in my opinion, there's a lot of factors that goes with the popularity of the retro gaming community. Now, for someone to say that YouTube has no influence whatsoever, that YouTube is not doing anything wrong, that is just completely ludicrous. Okay, you're living inside of a bubble. Maybe you're doing damage control. I don't know what it is, but to say that YouTube has no influence whatsoever is just crazy. And I have a couple of rebuttals on Shawn, but out of respect, because he's a cool guy. And I actually am going to be defending some channels as well, because there were some channels that were mentioned in Facebook that I was like, come on now, you know, even if you're not a big fan of the channel, you got to point out, you know, stuff that's just not right. Now, first off, I want to say that retro collecting is not what it used to be, and it never will be what it used to be. You know, I've been collecting, seriously collecting, since I was a teenager. I never got rid of my video games. That's the reason why I had the collection that I had. And then when I was about 13, they opened up FuncoLand, and I went there and started buying my Nintendo games. I started buying Super Nintendo games. And you know, back then people were wondering why. They're like, dude, why are you buying Contra when you could buy Resident Evil Dead Aim? But the thing is like the prices back then were really cheap, and I just loved to play video games. It wasn't because I was trying to relive my childhood. I was just like, you know what, I love video games. I don't care what the graphics look like. Now, go to 2005, 2006, when the Angry Video Game Nerd got really popular and changed YouTube for what it was with the gaming community. Before AVGN came out, you didn't really have a whole lot of gaming. Then he came out, you had a lot of clones. And then you started having reviewers, then you started having Let's Plays, and then of course you started having game hunt videos. And it did not just start with the game chasers, and that's where I'm kind of defending the game chasers with this, because a lot of people are like, because of the game chasers, the retro community, the games are just so expensive. It's not just them. Okay, you had the retro hunters, you had Pat NES Punk's Flea Market Madness, and Shawn said that when he watched the Game Chasers, it made him want to go out and find video games. And I agree. Retro gaming should not be treated like the Fight Club. I want people to talk about games. I want people to gush about memories and talk about games that, you know, you should check out. You know, that's a series that I do. Games you should check out. I talk about games that people should play. Now, with that being said, how many of you guys that are watching this have started a YouTube channel based off of another YouTube channel? Like, you watched Game Chasers, you watched Happy Console Gamer, you've watched RGT85, and it made you want to get in front of the camera and make a video and talk about retro games. Now see, that is where the retro community has made a change on retro collecting, because it makes a snowball effect, okay? And it's not just the YouTube community, and I'll get to more details of that, but people see this and they want to go out and get more. They see the prices. Some people, you know, they see the price and they're like, oh man, this game's going for like $100. I'm gonna pay it anyway. I mean, I know plenty of people who will go out and they will spend money like it's nothing to get whatever game they just watched because they want it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just keep in mind that this will make the prices go up higher, because let's face it, these games, just like Shawn said, are not worth anything unless we put value on them. And the people that are going out there and spending and not having any patience, just wanting to get these games, they're making the prices go up. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're someone like me who started selling their collection when they lost their job, and you can live comfortably for about 2 months and be like, wow, you know, I'm making more money than I did at my old job selling some of my old video games. I can still play them. I have the Raspberry Pi. I'm fine. So that's not a bad thing. Or people who started selling video games and opened up their own video game store, or the fact that these mom and pop shops are making more money than they've made in the last like 20 years. because it's gotten so popular. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. And then you have conventions as well. We have more conventions now than we have in the last 10 years. They're just popping up like freaking zits on an adolescent's face, you know? So, I mean, the thing is, the retro gaming community is not completely ruined by YouTube, but it's almost like a branch, and it's one of the branches that kind of breaks off in the different departments and stuff. I know plenty of people who got into retro collecting not because of YouTube. They got into it because of nostalgia. Nostalgia is also a huge fact into what's brought up game prices. I go on the Wilmington Yard Sale group page on Facebook, and I see someone selling like an NES for like $300, and you have people being like, oh, how much is that? Oh, I want to get that. I haven't played that in years, and I'll spend $300. Those people as well are the ones that are factoring in the retro prices going up. It's not just the game chasers. As a matter of fact, those people probably haven't even heard of Billy and Jay. And to me, I think it's a complete disservice and kind of disrespectful just to call out one channel being like, it's the game chasers. The game chasers brought up the prices. These prices were so low until they came into the scene. No, the prices were so low until it got popular. And it is what it is. To me, it's pure capitalism. Now, for me personally, what ruined retro collecting in my town wasn't the game chasers. It was actually my local newspaper. See, I have a retro video game store here in town called Game Giant. It's been around for almost 27 years, about 27 years. They made a news article talking about it, and they were talking about how long it's been around, and it was a really great article, but at the very end, the editors decided to add something a little special. Maybe they were looking at it as a way to boost business for Game Giant, but this did nothing but add a callus to any sort of retro collecting, and that is, they were at the very end, they said, those games in your attic may be worth more than you think they are, and they started listing, you know, Little Samson, world, you know, stadium events, you know, track and field, whatever. They started listing all these games, and they weren't even at eBay prices. They were all on the Amazon prices. I knew it. You know, when I saw these games that were like in the 4 digits, and I'm just like, oh my God. Because see, people that are uneducated to the retro community, they see that. They see that Little Samson is going for over $1,000. And they think to themselves, I've never heard of this game. I've never heard of this game, but I have Super Mario Bros. 3 in my attic right now. And that's a Mario game. So that's gotta be double what that is. You know? And someone who is also not educated they go to flea market, they see Super Mario Bros. 3 is being on sale for $120. They think it's freaking vintage. And they buy it because they don't know any better. And that's what adds to the retro community and the prices going up. There are deals out there. The deals are not what they used to be. They are not, it's not 2003 anymore. So to think that you're going to be getting games for $2 a pop is completely ludicrous. Some of these people are just very unrealistic. They see these videos and they want to go out and find games just like the Game Chasers or, you know, Retro Liberty. God, I miss that channel. You know, they see all this and they want to go out and do it, and it's just not the same. It's not what it used to be. So, did YouTube ruin the retro community or the retro collecting? No, it didn't. It just made it more popular. And you know, after a while, things change. You know, will the bubble pop? I don't know. But to be honest, I don't really care. Because when it all comes down to it, it's just video games. And when you look at it in hindsight, we are grown adults debating about old video games. Really think about that. It should just be fun. It shouldn't be so serious, you know? I mean, when I saw that debate on Facebook, I'm just like, wow. But yes, it's not just the Game Chasers. It's not just, you know, AVGN. It's not just, you know, Pat the NES Punk or Metal Jesus Rocks. It's not just YouTuber channels. It's YouTube as a whole. And it's making an impact. And it's not necessarily bad, but if you're expecting to be like, oh, I'm going to go and to this place and get all these games for $2 a pop, it's not going to happen. Just be realistic about it. So anyway, guys, what do you think? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, big shout out to RGT85. I'll have a link on the description to his channel. Really good friend of mine. I actually got to hang out with him last year at the Fayetteville Comic Con. Really cool guy. And yeah, let's all just have fun and play games. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.
Can't get enough of Excess Gaming Podcast? Be sure to check out our audio podcast on podomag.com. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes. And if you have a YouTube channel or podcast you'd like to share, be sure to check us out on Facebook on our group page and join the community. As always, guys, thank you so much for all the support and happy gaming.